A mystery has been solved. The girl that Suit spent 2 hours trying to land on St. Paddy's Day that was already attached has spoken up to tell her side of the story.
Oh, good.
Does she want Suits?
No.
Oh, spoiler alert.
There goes the mystery.
Well, let's find out who she is and what her side of the story is. Like,
Yeah.
what was going on? Because Suits apparently was laying down the Mac for like 2 hours, and then turns out that this girl was taken, and her friend was a lesbian, and no action for Suits.
Are they claiming Suits spreading that fake news as well?
Well, they're saying that, look, it's not like we led him on for 2 hours and then dropped the bomb on him. We were actually up front telling him that we would be good wing women for him to try to help him hook up with somebody. And so,
Yeah, but it looked like that night was all wing, no woman.
yeah. She said, I then told him that I had a boyfriend, not to mention I wear a diamond promise ring on my ring finger.
Just what every guy wants to hear when he's out looking for women. Hey, we're at a bar, you're talking to girls. We can help you find some other girls. That's kind of how.
Well, in my defense, if they did tell me at some point that they were in a relationship, I was pretty hammered and probably forgot.
That's what they're saying. I cannot blame him for maybe not remembering that part of the conversation because there was a lot of alcohol consumption going on.
Gotcha.
I mean, either way, look, they were both gorgeous, so there was no reason why you're going to try and get with people if you think they're gorgeous, and I had a lot of fun talking to them, so either way, it was a good night, but...
Were they on the bus?
Yeah, they were sitting right in front of you.
They were good looking.
I just, if I forgot, honestly, the promise ring, I was way too drunk that it was a promise ring. I don't... But
they were good looking girls for sure.
No, they were both very cute. And I said I had fun talking to them. After I found out they were in a relationship, I didn't stop talking to them until they left. So it was a good night. But yeah, no, I'm just pretty bad at this.
We're gonna get you going. Me and Denny's been talking about it.
Work in progress, baby.
Yeah, man. First of all, you look great. I shit you not.
Yeah, and we're going to be hooking him up here like real soon with my trainer. He's going to start working out with my trainer 3 days a week.
I say this in a very nice, as a compliment. Me and Denny's were looking at footage from you about 4 or 5 months ago. You look like a different dude. You look great, man.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Jaybird's ready to give you a promise ring.
Yeah.
I'll take it at this rate.
At least a basic little handshake, probably.
Yeah, I'll give you a little sympathy hand piece.
Yeah.
Sure, let's do this.
I'll make it real nice.
I think that would get us some YouTube hits. I'm just saying.
I'm not against it.
I don't think they'd allow it on YouTube, though. Believe me, I've considered going to the sex acts.
What about you porn?
You porn.
That'll get our
That's
you
more our
numbers
game.
up.
That's a lot of competition, man. They come correct at you porn.
Girl's name is Sydney, and she said, quick little tip for you, Suits. Just always check out a girl's ring finger, and that'll be the first lead.
I noticed that right away on the bus. The one girl, boom, her ring almost hit me in the face.
Yeah, I guess that's something I need to look for more. I don't know what I'm doing with this stuff, so I just saw two cute girls. We were talking and having fun, and
there they are on
that's
KVJ
them.
TV.
Aww.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very nice, too.
I said, either way, though, I had a lot of fun talking to him. That was a really fun night. It's 2 hours. They had good conversation.
Those girls had great energy.
They were, I was supposed to record one for Drunk Girl Trivia, and it just never happened.
Yeah, I tried to find you, and I was too drunk. I forgot what I was doing within 30 seconds. So
we're gonna get it done, Suits. I'm telling you, we're gonna go out in the field. We're gonna make it happen.
You're gonna go out in the field. You're gonna do it there.
The dating field.
I got you. Okay, it will happen, my friend. Especially, boy, we get that body. He looks fantastic. Get that body all toned up, man. He's got some abs.
He's got that George Clooney haircut.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
things are coming.
Oh yeah.
Now you need to be a coming.
Oh yeah.
Damn straight.
Cheaper.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was a podcast.
Well, we got a lot of comments about Mayim Bialik. She used to play Blossom. She is now in Big Bang Theory, and she is a pretty big feminist. And she, every week she's got some kind of commentary that's going on. She had a video last week about somebody pigeonholing her into her Zionist feminism. She doesn't shy away from controversial stances and comments. The thing that she had last week was there was a woman that I think was Palestinian that was calling out, Israelis and the fact that, how they're settling policy and all that kind of stuff. And the suppression that they have. And she just kind of went off. She's like, oh, yeah, you want to talk about suppression of women and blah, blah, blah. So, she's a very politically opinionated and active and does a lot of blogs about it. And her latest, if you missed the regular show, was she was saying that it's insulting to use the term girls for women, especially like over the age of 18. If she's a girl, she's 13, 14, she's a girl. But if she's over the age of 18 and has a high school diploma, then she's a woman. And she was out at a bar, and one of her guy friends, almost 40, is like going, hey, look at that hot girl over there. And she was, a woman that was well past the age of 18. And she's like, that kind of minimizes her, and that uses this language that puts her in a bad position and place. Now, people on both sides of this have sent in emails. Deani said, no one is saying that anyone is a bad person for saying girl, but did you even watch the whole video? I did, actually. She makes some very good points in it that are worth thinking about. I rarely hear people referring to grown men as boys, but maybe that's just the people I roll with. But I think she's absolutely right. I'm not a girl. I am a grown-ass woman. I have children. I have a job. I pay bills. Referring to young children and grown women with the same word puts us in the same category, but we are not in the same category. Yes, obviously, many women refer to themselves as girls, but that is because they have just grown used to hearing that. The word is so commonly used that they've just grown to accept it. But maybe it's time to change that notion. Also, when someone tells you that they are offended by being called a certain word, it is not okay for you to tell them that they have no right to be offended and that they are overreacting. Other people's feelings are valid.
Well, I mean, then that's a contradiction, because now they're telling, if people fight against that and to give their opinion, now you're telling me how I can't feel and how I can react to it. It's a big contradiction, and it goes round and round and round. Look at intent. And look at what people mean. Now, if you're in an office and a dick face is going, all right, the girl over there needs to go. If he's talking down to you, that's different. But if you're saying, oh, that girl looks beautiful, that's not a slight on that person. It's not. It's not someone trying to be mean or tear them down. Look at the intent.
Context, tone, those kind of things are all important when it comes to communication.
When I say I'm going out with my boys, I mean, we're going out, or how are you boys doing? Girls say that to me all the time. How are you and the boys doing? I'm not going to get offended by that, because I know it's just...
Well, don't a lot of times they say boys will be boys, and that oftentimes I hear women saying that, oh, boys will be boys.
Well, then, I mean, Blossom needs to send out her memo to all these other girls that say, I'm going out with my girls tonight, and all that kind of stuff. Girls say that all the time, so how do we know what's offensive and not offensive anymore?
People are so sensitive. It seems like everybody's easily offended. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Who cares?
I mean, we really kind of don't move forward if we're always offended by everything. I mean, we're spending all this time talking about your feelings okay? Are your feelings okay? Shit could be getting done.
Well, you be you, and just that's it. Do you?
Yeah. Now, if you are a fucking chauvinistic pig and you're talking down to women and you don't have their best interest at heart, yeah, you're a pig, and I agree with Blossom at that point. But if someone's intentions are not to be harmful, and I just think that you're making problems when there's not problems, and that's how I feel. So that email is basically telling me I can't be offended. It goes round and round.
My one thing is, a lot of times that there are certain groups that say, hey, I don't want to be referred to as a certain way. And I'm like, okay, especially when I'm not a part of that group.
I'm
like,
in the group.
I'll respect it. Yeah. But I think that what she's doing, it's like point noted, but I think it's overreaching. And I think for that reason. And I think that, yes, there are some examples, and I think she could probably say there are some times that girls don't, or women don't like to be referred to as girls. It's insulting. But, her reference point was woman in a bar, almost 40-year-old guy refers to her as a girl. And I would just say...
with a compliment.
Yeah, and I would just say, look at his intent. My thought is that his intent is to put her in a level where he would think is attractive. Girl, a lot of times, is referred to as, young, beautiful, pretty.
I don't even think it's a young thing. I just think it's just, you call people a girl sometimes. You call a guy a boy sometimes. It does happen.
Yeah. And so keep in mind, for those who are saying, in a professional setting, yes, but this was not. This was a bar.
I'm not talking about a professional setting at all.
So you do have to separate. I know a lot of people are making that kind of comment. I think that's duly noted. Okay, gotcha. That's probably a good place to not use girls.
You don't want to talk down to a woman, because I am a firm believer of girls having equal rights as guys. If you're a girl that can hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and you can play in the major leagues, you should be in the major leagues. If you're a girl that can play football, you should be in the NFL. I think it should be equal. With that said, Girls call guys boys all the time. I mean,
Got an email from Ivy. She said, hey, guys, I'm surprised you haven't heard just how batshit crazy Blossom really is. When the movie Frozen came out, she was the first one to say that her girls will not be watching it. The reasoning, Disney movies always betray women as weak, and they need a man to come and rescue them. I don't think that's true, is it?
no.
I think you can find a lot of examples where girls are fighters and great and
What about
become heroines.
Brave?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The movie's called Brave, and the lead is a young female.
Yeah. She is a feminist, beyond feminist. She doesn't vaccinate her kids. She chews her kids' food, and she ate her placenta. And she doesn't let her kids watch TV. But how does she make her living? Being on fucking TV. On the Big Bang the Theory show, she is submissive to her boyfriend, and he talks down to her character all the time. That girl is cray-cray. She always comes out with some weird shit about women that nobody cares about. Stick to acting and try to act like a normal human being, jackass.
Well, I mean, some people do care about it because they're emailing the show and they're defending her, which is great. I mean, I welcome all that. But you know what it is when you hear it's when people are almost have a lectury type tone that you're doing something wrong and you're not as evolved as they are, and people
They're preaching at you.
People don't like that shit, especially if you're saying something they don't agree with you on, and then you're doing it wrong. It comes off like you are. I know she doesn't say you're
Puts
a bad
people
person.
immediately on the defensive. It makes you feel like you're being accused of being a bad person.
It makes me feel like I don't think women are equal, and that I am always with my boys or men saying, "Oh, fucking keep the girls down." I mean, that is so far from the truth. I was raised by women. I mean, I want to
You
absolutely.
say women or wolves?
I was raised by women and wolves. I mean, I have the most respect for women. Now I sound like I'm just saying. I really respect women, and I just think that when people do really respect women, and then you're trying to say that they don't, or they imply that you don't, you're like, fuck this shit, man. Mm-hmm. And Virginia's got a vagina. She agrees with me.
I do. I'm a woman with a man's voice, and I totally agree with you. I think that we are so ready to be offended by every little thing out there. Guess what? Life's not perfect.
No.
You don't live in Candyland where it's fluffy clouds and happy rainbows and gumdrops. That's not life. Stop being so fucking offended.
But it's so funny, and that's what I mean. It's a big circle. Now, here we are preaching about not being offended, but yet we're offended by the people who are offended. And round and
Welcome
round
to
it
PC
goes.
culture, yeah.
We all just need to have a drink and chill the fuck out.
What if they're in recovery? Now you're being offensive.
Good point. Where does it stop?
Doesn't stop.
I hate quitters.
Shar sent us this email. She said, I think Jason still doesn't fully understand women's eggs and how they work.
Okay, now this is something I agree with.
Let's get into it.
He said he doesn't understand what the big deal is about giving away an egg because she will just get another egg next month. Does he not understand that the egg will actually make a child and that child is hers genetically? How would he feel if someone else was raising his child? That was her issue, not being able to raise the child as her
No,
own.
I understood that. My whole thing is if it comes from love and both parties agree with it, then it's a beautiful thing. If both parties agree with it, that's what I meant by that.
And someone else sent in, if there's still any confusion, a woman gets all of her eggs at birth, and then she just releases one per month for the rest of her life.
Yeah, they spit
At least
out.
until
Okay.
she hits menopause.
Apparently, I don't know shit about women.
Reproduction.
But you can't get them early. Like, they have to be spit out throughout the course of your life. It's not like
Yeah.
there's a little egg nest where you can go and get them all.
I'm
Right.
going by my egg guide over here. I'm
You can
like,
only get them when they get spit out. Now, you can spit out more by pumping yourself with those medicines.
Right.
But you got to wait every month.
Okay, so there you go. Educational as always.
thank you, I appreciate it.
Jesse said, as an IVF warrior, I'm so thrilled with the two calls that you featured last week about fertility and IVF, the twin brother sperm donor and the chick who was offered $10 million for an egg. I think both scenarios deserve some serious soul searching and counseling to come to a decision where everyone is comfortable. The emotional and physical consequences of undergoing these procedures should be seriously considered, and not to mention having a person with your genetic makeup walking the earth could be a major mindfuck to some. Counseling and very clear boundaries about the donor's role should be the first step in making these decisions. A couple years ago, I had given her some advice. I'd gone through the IVF route. And so she said, just want to let you know I'm now 29 weeks pregnant with a baby girl.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, due June 9th. Finley and future KVJ Nationer.
That's awesome.
And they got 6 more embryos on ice, just chilling. There you go. So she said, Jason, don't feel bad about knowing much about eggs and whatnot. Through our experience, we found that a lot of people, men and women, didn't have basic knowledge of fertility and reproduction. My husband jokes that he now knows more about a woman's reproductive system than 90% of women. So there you go.
Wow.
Congratulations, Jesse.
I feel educated. I do. I feel a little bit smarter.
We could just call this vagina classes in session.
I love it.
Here's one about family planning. Jessica from Milwaukee sent us an email, said, I had a question about kids. So almost 1 year ago, my husband and I welcomed a baby girl to our family. To say she was a surprise is a bit of an understatement, but she is the most amazing thing that we have ever done, and we are so grateful each day for her. When we initially found out that we were pregnant, my husband and I thought that we would only have one child. Now that she's almost 1 year old, we do debate a little about possibly having one more in the future. We are learning more towards just having her for many reasons, but we also don't want to look back one day and regret. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on having only one kid. I know Kevin was an only child, but ended up having 3 of his own. Did he like being the only kid, or does he wish that he had siblings? Also, I know Virginia had only Magnolia for a long time and was okay with just one kid before she met Panda. I know at the end of the day it is our decision, but I would like to hear your guys' opinions on one kid or multiple siblings. I would say it's really you've got to look at your excitement level. I mean, being an only child, for me, I mean, it was challenging, but I think it brought out some things in me. Like I think it really helped develop my creativity, which I use now a ton. Being an only child, I always had to entertain myself. I had to find things to do. And you're using your own entertainment, you're just going to die of freaking boredom, you know? And so I think that developed a part of me that I'm very thankful that I have now. And if I had had other siblings, it might not have developed to the level that I want it in the way that it is right now. But yeah, there were a lot of boring times. And I feel bad sometimes for my son Cannon because, you know, like last week he had spring break. We don't have a lot of kids on the block for him to play with. I mean, no kids for him to play with.
Yeah, your
I'd say
average
a lot.
age on your block is like 90.
Yeah, so that
They
didn't
look
work
a little
out.
weird and playing catch with a 90.
Them girls ain't had eggs in a while.
Yeah, so, you know, for him, he didn't really have a lot of stuff to do. And so he's kind of going through the same thing. Even though he's got siblings, they're 10 years older than he is. And so they're at different places. And, you know, he gets to go hang with him. He hung with his sister a little bit this weekend, but they're still just in different places. And so there's a lot of times that he is kind of going through it, but he might get the best of both worlds because he'll have still the same thing where he's got to try to entertain himself, which I think is good sometimes. And he also still has, like, you know, the love and all that kind of stuff of an older sibling.
I think you have to look, too, at your level of busyness in your life and stress in your life and how active are you? Because one kid is totally doable for 2 parents. Once you add 2 kids, 2 parents, now it's just man-to-man defense. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you have to divide and conquer. So the parents aren't together working on one kid. Mm-hmm. The parents are separate, each working on a kid by themselves.
Yeah.
And I like 2 parents working on one kid.
It's good. It's a good ratio.
I think it's healthy. I mean, just for me, we're so busy. Mm-hmm. I couldn't imagine adding a 3rd kid. I really couldn't.
Well, the thing that was fortunate for us having a 10-year gap that was good, that would have been tough otherwise. Caitlin was so involved with softball when she was growing up. Cannon was so much younger that we just kind of took him along for the ride. But if he would have been her age and been doing just as much stuff, and I saw that a lot, where siblings were about the same age, one parent's on one side of the state in one town by themselves, and the other parent is the other. And that was like every weekend. And I'm like, that's not a way I would want to live.
No.
Because the time you're supposed to be connecting on the weekend, you guys are in different cities and you never see each other.
That's not how family is supposed to work.
Right. So I didn't like that. So I like the fact that there was separation. I thought that worked. But there's a lot of things that, you know, go into it. You got to try to factor out. I think good is 2 is very doable and good. And sometimes they can entertain each other and they've got a great bond. 3, if they're really close, it's you're going to have to sacrifice a lot. So, you know.
And better back up the money truck.
It adds a lot. Yeah, I mean, you know, what are they talking about? Like $400,000, I think, by the time a kid goes from birth to 18.
It is not cheap.
Not cheap. Let me see here. On the Anna Egg donation, Melanie sent an email. She said, sorry, but I am calling BS on that call. The going rate for eggs from a very attractive Mensa member Ivy League graduate is $50,000. the guy is really willing to pay that much. He did no research. Even if he was paying for the best of the best and all the medical expenses, maybe it would cost him $100,000. That would be for someone that went through all the philological background to be a donor. Philological, is that a word?
It sounds good.
Okay.
Physiological?
It just says philological. I don't know if I've ever heard that.
Maybe
one.
it's Phil Logic.
Yeah.
Logic of a guy named Phil?
It's a new one for me. Just saying BS or a rich fool. Yeah, I don't know. Rich or if it's BS. No idea. But I do know that one of our coworkers' husbands is the one that got us in contact with that person, and he seems like he's a credible individual. So
I don't think he'd lie to us.
I don't think so either.
He's got nothing to,
And it was a story that they didn't want to come on the radio with. They were talked into
Yeah.
coming on the radio. That wasn't somebody that reached out to us
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, there's this great story."
We looked
This
for it.
story came to us by a person that told it to us, and then
He
we
was
pursued
telling me
it.
the story. I'm like, that would be, I got to hear what's going on with that. That's
Right.
absolutely crazy. And
It is crazy.
It's going on in New York City, and so I don't know, what the deal is. And
They're
so.
real people. It's a real story in New York.
At least according to him. I mean, unless they're all in a conspiracy. I don't know why they would. It
We
seems like a
didn't
lot
just
of,
have one girl call in. This has a whole back thing to
Yeah.
it.
I mean, if they were lying, my hat's off to them because we don't have time to fact check all that craziness.
Yeah, no.
Well, why would we when it came from somebody else and we pursued it?
Well, it wasn't anything like he's like, hey, you got to have this on the
No.
radio. I was just having a conversation with this guy.
They
and
didn't
he's
want to
like,
come on.
Yeah, and he's telling me the story because like his daughter is friends with this girl. I'm like, are you like, that's the craziest story ever. Like, I got to talk to this chick.
I'm usually pretty skeptical on some of the calls we get. That one I think is pretty legit, believe it or not.
Well,
Yeah.
just because we know the whole backstory.
Well, that's what does it. And it sounds unbelievable. I mean, $10 million. I wish the one thing we couldn't do is we can't say the company that the guy owns. That was the one
juicy.
thing. Yeah, but I want to maybe do a little bit of work on that.
And who knows? Maybe that guy ends up being a flake. We have no idea. We just know that the situation was that.
Yeah, maybe when you got that much money and you just, I don't know, just want to throw it around. Tanya said, I was thinking about a bit you guys did from the past when you asked the audience to come on to tell you a story on a topic that you guys wanted to hear. I believe it was anyone listening who has.
I liked that bit. I thought that was fun.
You like it?
I do.
Well, we could, we always got stuff we could bring back. It says, lately it seems like some of the people who have come on the show to share their story may have been lying. I know there's no way to know for sure, but out of curiosity, how about you dare the audience to come clean about lying to the show? I don't know if we get anybody, but yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to be like, all right, have you, pulled one over on us? Is a fast one to try to win something or tell us something?
Oh, it definitely happens.
Yeah.
Would be idiots to
An
think
amnesty day.
We would think we're idiots to think everyone that calls in is telling the complete truth.
Yeah.
It's
So
no way.
What do? We offer them prizes to come and confess that they took
Well,
a
if you
prize.
But then
remember-
they'll lie about that.
Yeah,
They'll
well,
lie about lying, and they'll take our prize.
I don't know. I mean, you got to do your best to
It's a
try.
vicious cycle.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
do your best to research it, and if it sounds great, entertaining, and then they sound believable, we put them on, and at that point, we have no idea.
Yeah. That's why we love when somebody sends us a story via email, and then we get a little bit of time to talk to them and correspond and, try to sniff out all the details and see if it sounds.
The best ones are when somebody sends you a story and
Yeah.
it's not even the person involved. They're like,
Yeah.
you got to call my friend Tracy or whatever. And then we call Tracy and she doesn't want to come on the radio. And then we
Yeah.
talk her into it. Those are sometimes the juiciest.
And they're not always the easiest to set up. I mean, sometimes it takes us a week or so to get a hold of both parties, and then you got to talk. One of them will say, yeah, I'm in, I want to come on, and then they have a change of heart. I don't know if I want to go on the air with this. Like, no, you want, they have to talk them back into it.
Penny gives them the fake name Hilda.
Yeah, exactly. The whole process.
Hilda? Really? Hilda?
Let me see. Our boy Jonathan sent this email. Said, no offense, guys, but the No Name Movie game is starting to get tired, and I used to love that game. The past couple of weeks were really bad, and we all know by now that as long as you get Virginia, you are sure to win. So why don't we replace the No Name Movie game with the noise effect game that you came up with? Have callers call in and have either the audience or you guys guess what the sound is. This way it doesn't require any kind of vocabulary skill or knowledge of past or current movie titles that people have been getting wrong on the titles, and it should be a no-brainer. And maybe even Kevin can get back at playing the game. Just an idea.
Why don't we just do both? I think both games are great. Why do we got to take one out and leave the other?
Yeah.
The sound effect game's great. No-name movie game, look, it's not going anywhere.
We're going to
It's
try
not.
the sound effect game again this Thursday, and we'll see how it goes. And if it goes all right for a second time, we might put it in for a brief rotation.
Bottom line is Virginia's good. We need to take her ass down. That's it.
Good luck. It's a big ass.
But it's tough.
You better bring a friend.
Yeah, we can't take away the no-name movie game.
Well, it'd be good to know, too, because we were talking about maybe bringing back the Read My Lips, and a couple other bits that we haven't done for a while. Somebody had said
Headphone karaoke.
Yeah, so I'd like for people to start jumping in with what games you miss that you'd like for us to bring back, because we're kind of starting to look to say, okay, what are we going to rotate out? What are we going to bring back in for a little run? So you can let us know, mail@kvjshow.com. This from Steven in D.C. Steven D.C. says, hey, what's up, y'all? I listened to the podcast from Thursday. Amazing content as usual, especially the beginning where we got to follow the life and times of Jerby. Anyway, I made it home from work about 5 o'clock, and I sat down to relax from a long week, and I turned on Netflix and put on the movie Zootopia. Although I'd seen the movie before, I thought it'd be a great way to decompress and just chill, and as usual, I fell asleep about halfway into it.
I know that move.
When I woke up at the very end of the film, there was a Shakira song called Try Everything. It was playing, and I couldn't help but think of Jaybird. So I listened to the lyrics, I realized why. The song is about failing over and over again, as our wonderful Jaybird tends to, but never giving up. How about that? We all love Jaybird, and I know the kids tend to love him the most. The message of the song is a great one for kids to hear. So there you go.
Until they listen to the podcast and they realize Jaybird is nothing but a swearing alcoholic pirate.
Let's see. We got Denise warning us about the helium game. She said, you guys need to stop and read carefully about what it does. She said, I was reading this article, and they're talking about people that have died from inhaling helium, just having a little bit of fun. They liken it to when you're drowning, what it does to your lungs. It's like being filled with water, and yes, it can cause death. I'm shocked that no one from the medical community has reached out to you. No bueno.
I think the medical community wants us dead.
Maybe.
Like, keep playing.
Keep doing it.
We'll bring the balloons.
Yeah, no, I did read the stories on it, and they were talking about that. So
Is it one of those things, though, where you have to, have so much helium and you're drinking on it?
I don't know. I mean, they talked about a couple stories of some of the numbers were alarming about how many people had died, in the last year on helium, and some of the cases they'd found the person just had a balloon that was halfway filled in the room. So yeah, maybe it's something to consider. Maybe
All right, maybe we shouldn't do it then.
not very healthy. Thank you for the heads up, because nobody else told us.
They'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
I remember a time when the medical community would try to stop us. Now I think they want us to do it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Dixie Chicks Lauren said, I want to say something about Jaybird and his fake news battle rap. That was one of the funniest things I've ever heard, and he needs to make it part of the Value Meal Killer's Greatest Hits album. All these people that are bitching and complaining need to pull up their skirt and change their fucking tampon. It was hilarious and meant to be a fucking joke, so get the fuck over it, or maybe just laugh a little.
That's Dixie Chicks, Lauren?
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I love that. That's great.
So in short, the twat waffles need to back the F off our Jaybird and find something else to cry about.
She seems so prim and proper to have her drop twat waffle. That's awesome.
Who's Dixie Chicks Lauren?
The one that got us the Dixie Chicks tickets for Ann. Remember, I went with her and her husband?
Oh, yeah.
They were the nicest couple. She was so awesome and sweet to Ann. So was he.
They were so lovely.
Thank you for defending me. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Twat waffles.
We got this from Corey. Says, hey, I was just curious about why Ann always leaves voicemails on Jaybird's phone. Does Jason never answer her calls? Do they coordinate when she wants to leave a message for content on the show? Does she not really care that she's always on the show? I love these bits, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, as far as the voicemail goes, I don't really answer my phone anytime. I always have my phone phone on silent, so usually I get voicemails all the time. And Ann is at a point in her life where she doesn't give a shit about dick, man. She gives her opinions. I could be recording her, I could not be recording her. She's gonna give her opinion regardless, and I think that comes with age. But no, there's a lot of stuff she leaves me on the voicemail that is show related that I don't put on there. I just don't think it's entertaining. But she always wants to talk. She's always involved in stuff about anything in my life or family's lives. And she does the same stuff for my sister. My sister's got, she lives up in Oregon. She's always leaving voicemails. And I usually just pick the ones that are the most entertaining. If she's got something on her mind, she likes to say it.
Oh, yeah, she comes right out, huh?
That's
Yeah,
why we love her.
For sure.
And do you see her calling and make it go to voicemail so you know that you'll have it to be able to record for the show?
In all honesty, a lot of times she just will leave me a voicemail. I don't, like I said, I don't have my phone on ever. I always have it on silent. So even when you call me, Kev, there's very rarely do I ever pick up my phone. If I do pick it up, it's because I'm texting and I see a call coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't really have it right next to him, like, constantly.
I get distracted by the phone. I really do. I try to put it away as much as I can.
It is distracting. I'm a firm believer, and it's not to be rude in any way, but I'm a firm believer in letting calls go to voicemail. I mean, the only family's the only people that I really usually pick up. And I read something good about that, about, time and managing your time well. And, you in a sense, as you're going through your day, you've got your own agenda going on. And the second you pick up a call from somebody else, now all of a sudden you're on their agenda. And if you want to talk about maximizing your time and getting more out of your day, it's trying to stay true to your calendar that you have laid out of doing stuff. And phone calls are distracting, and it usually does take about 20 minutes for you to kind of get refocused and get back into that groove where you were of getting stuff done.
Well, and if somebody calls you, and like if somebody from work and they want something or you did something wrong, I want to know what it is before, so I'm not like smacked with it and then I have to immediately give a response. If I listen to a voicemail, I can figure out how to handle it and even start handling it,
Yeah, for sure. Or if we're out filming something and someone's calling me, and I've done that before, I stop, I take the phone call. Now everyone around me is waiting on me, and I feel kind of like a dickhead.
Mm-hmm. Got this from Lindsay. She said, "Hey, I'm in Denver, and everyone looks like producer Denny's. That is all."
It's a great email.
Everyone looks like producer Denny's.
He loves to go there.
His family's there.
That's
yeah.
where he went for Christmas. He said he loved it.
His mom and pops live up there.
Jennifer sent an email. She said, "So I got a question I think that Virginia could help me out with. I know V has laser removal and that Panda is a bushman.
Yes.
I just wonder if she's ever upset that she got it done, that she knows Panda likes it and won't be able to have it. Same boat here, and for the most part, I'm secure in my relationship, but every once in a while, I feel bad. I don't know if it'd be different because, honestly, I didn't get it done for someone else. Never cared for the hair, so I can't say it. I've grown it for their pleasure, but the fact is, I'll never have the option to know. Just wanted to see how it is for V."
I mean, if he really did want it, a little hair down there, you could always paint it. Paint it a little dark.
Yeah, don't they have
Paint on-
they
a
call those-
merkin.
a merkin? Yeah, it's
Merkin.
like it's a fake bush.
You have a
can put
toupee
on.
for your little area.
Well, when I did the laser hair removal, I left like a little Hitler mustache. Mm-hmm. And so I used to trim that puppy up and keep it like super short.
How did you trim it? With what, clippers or scissors?
Scissors.
Really?
Yeah, it was it's a tiny patch. And so I just let that little thing kind of grow now.
And it still grows.
I don't trim it. Oh, yeah, it grows a little bit in the middle. Now that I know what he likes, sure, if I could go back, I'd leave a little bit. But still, I don't like hair on the sides, where your thigh meets your puss.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like hair right there. I don't like it. So I still would have got that area lasered. And, anything that would catch on underpants, I don't want there to be hair there.
So you just had the little strip area. If you let that baby go, you let that thing go, does it look like it's like a long, almost like a ponytail? Like a tail almost?
Yeah, it looked like a My Little Pony ponytail.
Yeah,
My
okay.
Little Pony.
But they don't grow that long. Your pubes can't be braided.
Which is a shame because that would grow a pubic ponytail.
Cornrow Pennington.
Oh my God. Would that be awesome or awful?
Awful. I wonder if anybody's ever done that, though.
Oh, of course they have. In the history of people are fucked up, man. They do stupid shit all the time.
Probably a really good chance of that. Mm-hmm. All right, well, there you go. Thank you for all the emails today on the KVJ Show. Mail at kvjshow.com. You can get them to us. Thanks so much to Bud's Chicken and Seafood. Every weekend, I see so many people taking some time from their busy weekend to go check out Bud's Chicken and Seafood. Those photos are all over our Twitter and social media.
It was a big weekend, I think, for KVJ Nation and Bud Chicken and Seafood. So many people were sending me pictures.
I like it when they go and they bring their kids.
Yes.
And, because all of our kids are pretty much born in Florida, and then they never tried it. Like, all these kids have had McDonald's and Burger King, but they've never had Bud's. Like, it's child abuse if you're raising your kid and not showing them Bud's.
Make sure you do get that cod that rocks your bob, because I know that's a seasonal thing that they're doing. They're not going to be having that.
Okay.
So some of the seafood stuff.
The crab cake. I mean, the crab cake sandwich is $3.99.
And it's huge.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. All right, so check it out. 7 locations in Palm Beach County. Bud's Chicken and Seafood. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.